So first of all, thanks all for attending this morning. Hopefully you'll find kind of the webinar that we're going to go through quite useful. If you do have any questions throughout, then please pop them in the questions section, and myself and Phil will answer them off at the end. But yeah, any questions, please feel free to ask us. So first of all, just a couple of introductions. My name's Chris Bamber, and I'm the mobile solution specialist at Pennine. And we've got on the call as well Phil Carter, a colleague of mine. He's going to go through kind of the technical demonstration for Samsung Knox Configure, which is what you'll see today. This will be kind of the first of 3 webinars that we'll be doing over the next kind of 6 weeks. Kind of covering off, today we'll be covering off one part of the MDM portfolio, which is Samsung Knox, and specifically Samsung Knox Configure. But first of all, we'll kind of just start with what is mobile device management. Specifically in kind of 2018, there's been a lot of mention of MDM or EMM and what it is and what it can do. So effectively, what mobile device management is, it's a more effective way to kind of securely control and manage your mobile environment, and that's kind of from a centralized portal. Like I said, it also kind of, certain MDMs provide a more effective way to deploy your mobile handsets, because I know there's a lot of pain when you're doing a mobile refresh, that you have a lot of handsets sat there, and rather than individually having to set each of these phones up, there is now ways to better manage and control that deployment, and effectively it makes it a more effective and efficient deployment, and saves a lot of time for IT teams and administration teams, and that kind of thing. So, and one of the biggest kind of scare words of 2018 is GDPR, and there's been a lot of emails, as you probably all will have seen, so regarding what GDPR is and kind of the legislation. So kind of MDM EMM fits very much within that portfolio, and compliance is the key part to that. So ensuring that you're compliant from a mobile environment perspective is massive. So that's kind of what MDM is, and how it kind of fits in a lot of modern day businesses, and can be used. So the next kind of question is how does it work? So MDM kind of relies on an endpoint, being your mobile phone, tablet, nowadays kind of wearables, and then it's got an endpoint software that is effectively the MDM agent, which sits on kind of all those hardwares. Primarily, they are very much cloud-based, but there are on-premise options available. But a lot of these now EMM solutions or MDM solutions are cloud-based. And one of the key things here, it allows IT kind of departments and again administrators within businesses to configure policies, again through a centralized portal, so they have all control at their fingertips, and they are then pushed down over the air to individuals or end users' devices. So that can be policies, it can be the initial setup and deployment of the phones, as we discussed. It can be apps, blacklisting, whitelisting, and obviously Phil will go into this in a little bit more detail through the demonstration, on what can be done through the initial setup, and obviously through the other webinars that we do over the next 6 weeks. You'll get a bit more in detail knowledge there of how this is done and how simple and effective it can be. So the first part of kind of the Knox portfolio that you'll see today is Samsung Knox Configure. The next question is what is it? What is Samsung Knox Configure? And one of the things I personally love about it, and I think is a really effective part of config, is the frictionless out of the box setup. So effectively what that does, it auto provisions all of your mobile hardware, and it allows you to enroll and configure those devices during the initial setup. So you have uniform devices on an end user's desk, ready to use straight out of the box. You're not having to spend time individually filling out each phone and rebooting it up and putting all your kind of different APNs and Wi-Fi settings in and all that kind of thing. So it's a really effective way of doing a mobile deployment, and it also offers a great factory reset option where you can kind of skip the Gmail account, which I know is a big pain for a lot of businesses. They will have mobile devices with end users with a Gmail account logged in. That user then leaves the business and they have a handset there unable to use because effectively it's locked to that Gmail account. So again, this is a great way of avoiding all of that. You've then got kind of the rebranded software. So with the rebranded software, what that allows you to do is boot up a device fully corporate branded. The booting screen and all the animations are all specific to your business. So again, if you've got say healthcare or police environments, you've got there a uniform branded phone that represents your business, which is a fantastic kind of thing to have. You've then got the purpose-built appliance. So what effectively that is what they call a kiosk mode, and it transforms an off-the-shelf device into a business device, and it allows you to limit specific applications. And again, Phil will go into this in a bit more detail shortly, but it kind of helps that user experience because it's then designed specifically for your business, and it's kind of a modified default behaviors that they can only use certain things on that device, which is a fantastic thing to have again. And then the final thing is the advanced device configuration, and effectively that is then you can customize connectivity settings to a granular level, so that's Wi-Fi, your APN settings, and again they can be pushed out on deployment straight to your devices. Again, it's a massive time-saving benefit. So what I will do is I'll pass over to my colleague Phil, and he will go through this in a little bit more detail and give you a demonstration. So Phil, over to you.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you for going over Knox configure there. So what I'm just going to be doing here is just showing you what Chris has just gone through and how you can bring that to life in your fleet of devices. So Knox Configure is a web-based portal where you can control and you can configure mass devices at a click of a button. So you literally log into the portal onto here. You see then the nice configuration of what you've got on here in the nice boxes. What you can see on the right-hand side of my screen here is my device that remote controlled onto. So you can see the look and the feel. And as I go through the different areas about building the profile, you can actually see it deploy onto the device and how easy it is to change stuff, even if your fleet is in life. So the first thing to do is you just click onto your profiles and you can start creating your profiles. And this is where you can do all your branding, you can deploy your applications, you can even configure that boot down animation. So you can see on the back on here, I've got a picture of Good Taxi, which is a brand, and then I've deployed some applications onto that. So what I've also done here is I've rebranded the internet browser, the Pennine logo. And I've even, when I click on it and it loads up a web page, it doesn't go to a Google web page, it goes to the company web page. So again, we can look at that and you can completely brand that device to how you want it to look and feel. It's all done through the profile information here, and as you go down on the side here, it's an easy to follow and easy to manage configuration. So the first bit on it is it's all about talking about the device and who is it programmed for. What you've got is on the enrollment screen. So when you turn the device on, it will come up and it will tell you specifically that again, who the phone is being configured by. The enrollment screen is a free text box, so you don't need to put the address like I have here. But you can put anything you want in that. So you can really make that personal touch and make it personal to a business. You've also got the support telephone numbers down here. So if the end user had any issues, you've already configured that, and then you can put that into there, and then they can contact the relevant IT team to talk about that or to discuss any issue that they had. You can also push down an end user agreement or a EULA onto the device, so the end user has to accept that before they go in. And at this page, at this bit, like Chris mentioned, you've got the being able to skip the Google factory reset section, which is again a massive point. Just reiterating that point there for Chris, because it is such a key point for businesses whose devices are coming back in. But you can also skip the Google Setup Wizard, so you don't have to go through those basic settings on there as well. So again, so what you can do, like I've changed the branding on here, if we then go onto our home and lock screen, you can completely change the way the device looks and how it feels. So like you'll see on here, we've got been able to change the home screen, the lock screen, and we can even prevent the users from changing that home or lock screen. So I couldn't be able to go and change the background on here. So we'll just go and change that for you, just so you can really see how easy it is to deploy onto the devices. So if we just come onto here, we can click the logo. And what this will do, it will show on our phones down here, just the profile change, what the new picture is going to look like once it's deployed onto the device, just like that. And we can again also do that for the lock screen. But you can again, you can change it from a phone as well to a tablet if you wanted to. So again, you can control phones, tablets, and wearables within this Knox solution. When you scroll down, you've got the lock screen, so you can hide your time and dates as well, and even the notifications. Notifications is a really useful one because, again, in general business or in general just life, if someone's phone lights up, you actually kind of look over it and you can, again, read quite a lot of that information from that notification screen. So being able to hide the notifications is really, really useful as well. Not only can you change the background, you can deploy applications on content onto the phone. So like you can see on my profile that I've configured here, and actually on my live phone, I can see the configuration is the same. My applications are deployed, and I've pushed the PDF onto there. So let's push a new application onto the device. So I just click on the plus, and I can add in applications, content, bookmarks, or even folders onto the device. So if I then just choose an application, this is an APK, and I can upload that onto there. So I can already see on my profile it's been added into there. I can also add in content. So we'll also pick a video. So we'll also upload a video onto it as well. So it's not just the ability to control the application, it's also pushing content down to the device. When you scroll up, you can push the update. So you can push this automatically, so there's no end user engagement required in it. You just automatically do it. So you can push it now, or you can schedule it to a later time. So actually, if you go during our work hours, we don't want this profile to update, then you can process it so we'll do it outside work hours. So if I just click push now, what you'll then notice on the right-hand side of the screen there, what's going to happen, the phone's just going to take the new configuration and it's going to automatically pull it down, pull the configuration down and those applications, all that content. So this is then what the end user would see on their device. So you can see actually from the time it actually processed it to the phone picking up the configuration was really quick. So it just makes that really seamless. So our background has changed straight away there, which is perfect. And we've deployed those to that application and that video like we show on the profile there. So it makes everything nice and simple for you guys to use. It's not just branding you can push down onto the device, but you can also create boot up animations. This is a free of charge process done by Samsung, and there's a guide on how to do it here. Once you're happy, you literally just add in your files into here, and when you turn the phone on or off, it will go through that boot up animation. If you then look at the device connectivity, also Knox Configure has light MDM touches into it as well, so it's not just a customization solution on there. But you can change, you can push down Wi-Fi content onto the device, so you can push your corporate Wi-Fi, so that can be automatically configured onto the device. You can choose to disable Bluetooth or enable it, depending on what your preferences are. Even NFC, airplane mode, and the ability to use mobile data. So you may say this is a kiosk device, like a Pro kiosk device, which Chris mentioned earlier. You may say, right, this is sitting in one location in a Wi-Fi zone. There's no need to have mobile data in it, so we can disable that mobile data. And you can also set USB connections. So you can turn around and say, actually, you don't want them to be able to use it as a memory stick, but it's just being able to use to charge the device as opposed to a USB. If we then go on to your device settings, so on the device settings, it's really useful on here for an IT admin, being able to choose the language of the device. It means that maybe someone's kid hasn't picked up the device, accidentally changed the language into something that the parent doesn't understand or the employee doesn't understand, and then they're at a bit of a situation where they cannot use their device. So the IT admin can block that and say, right, one specific language is going to be used on our fleet of devices. And it also means any devices or any calls into the IT team, it's easier for the IT admin to understand there. But you can also hide the element to back up and reset. So again, that the end user cannot factory reset the device. However, you guys being able to, on the Knox Configure portal, you can factory reset that device. You can also go on auto power on and off mode. For this mode, again, there's a massive high street retailer out there that have got lots of devices in there. And again, when they enter the building, all of the devices power on and power up their application into their kiosk mode. And then when they leave the shop, at the end of the day, the alarm sets, all the power goes off, those devices power off, making it a completely much more of a greener environment to make it a lot easier for businesses, for their cost spend as well. The last one I want to show you on here is the restrictions. So it just shows you how much capability you can lock down with just Knox Configure. So again, you can prevent the end users using the camera, so they can't, if it's in a shop or in a waiting room, and the end user or someone can't pick up the device, take pictures of people, and then they're saved on the device. So it's completely controllable. You can also disable the use of the hardware keys and even disable safe mode and multi-user mode on those devices, which is a really, really useful point. Being able to turn off roaming and tethering as well within the devices is really, really key as well. So you can see as from an overall perspective, it's really nice and simple to use. And when you look at the device on here, it's completely branded into the environment you want. And again, if we now turn the device off, what we should see is then a boot down logo, just like that. So you can really see what it would actually look like if for a business, and how they can really customize that device and tailor that device to a true business device. I hope you guys have found that technical demo useful. I'll pass you over to Chris to go through on the ordering process.
Thank you very much for that, Phil. Hope you guys found that really, really useful. It just kind of shows you how easy Knox Configure can really make a deployment, and kind of the tools it gives you to be able to push out your devices to end users ready, set up to go, fully branded. And again, it's a massive time save for a lot of admin teams and administrators who look after kind of mobile environments. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Phil. So kind of next steps. Obviously, if you've got any further questions, on the next slide, I have posted my details there. So feel free to give me a call or pop me an email. But one thing I am keen to point out is we can provide a proof of concept, which is a really easy thing to do. So all we need you to do, if you are interested in trialing Knox Configure, is literally log on to samsungknox.com, register with your email address that you'd like to be associated with the Samsung Knox platform, and what you will then receive is a kind of a Knox ID number, a customer ID number, which you can see at the bottom there. All we need from you is if you could kindly supply that to us, we can then start your 30-day free trial. Please note, Samsung Knox configure is for Samsung only devices. Some of the latter stuff that you'll see with Samsung Knox can be used on other operating systems when we look at Samsung Manage in the next webinar, but Knox configure purely is for Samsung only devices. But absolutely feel free, if you would like to undergo a free trial and a proof of concept, please let us know, please register, and like I said, provide us with the email address and the Knox ID number, and we will be more than happy to provide that for you. So last but not no means least, like I said, there's the details for myself. If you do have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or pop me an email, and I'd be delighted to cover those off for you. But if there's any questions, let me just take a look. No, but if there's anything that you need to know, like I said, please feel free to get in touch. But thank you all for attending today. I hope you found it really, really useful. And we do, like I say, please keep an eye out for our other webinars that we've got coming up. The next one being for Samsung Knox Manage, which is the actual ongoing management of the devices. So please feel free to look out for that and register for that one. But again, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you found it very useful. Thank you.